Okay, I just want to throw this out there, kind of like a little history on the Spey thing here in the Pacific Northwest. Uh, Literally, if any of you guys, and you need to do this, you need to read stuff like by like Ralph Wall and Roderick Haig Brown and a bunch of those guys. Bill McMillan. Uh, who else is there? Anyways, if you can find out all you're going to learn a lot of the ethics of fly fishing for steelhead through that reading. You'll also learn a lot about the steelhead through that. Trey Combs, Bob Arnold, but Spey, literally, it's technically speaking, Roderick Haig Brown had double-handed rods way back when. Way before that, this Spey revolution thing happened, I don't know, in the past 15, 20 years. And then after that, there was Mike Maxwell had double-handers fishing up on the Balkan and stuff. But the whole Pacific Northwest Spey kind of revolution, even though those already existed, it really took off here, all right? And I just want to give kind of a quick synopsis of it, because I don't think most people know this. What happened was Jim Green, who was designing rods for Sage, and there was their clan. Jim Green had a place on the Grand, beautiful place up on a step. I don't know, it's got to be 250 feet above the Grand, or maybe higher, and it looks down on that lower end of the Grand Ronde. And he actually had a casting pond built up there, and there was all these people that would gather there every fall, and they were all, fishing together, and they would talk, and it was, Jim Green and Al Burr and Harry Lemire and Bob Strobel, Marl Bumpus, just whole clan. Anyways, I got the story. This is the story I got from those guys. So pretty sure this is the way it actually happened. Jorn Anderson was having Sage build double-handed rods for him. So Jorn Anderson came over to Bainbridge Island, or wherever that Sage thing was at the time, to check out the prototypes. Oh, yeah, I guess you call them prototypes. And it was there that Harry Lemire and Bob Strobel and those guys saw this thing, double-hand casting. Oh, technically speaking, though, Jorn calls it underhand casting, not Spey casting. So that's kind of where the whole thing started. Harry and Bob, and I don't know who else in the group, all I know is Harry and Bob, because those are the guys I ran into on the river. Harry and Bob tried to emulate Jorn Anderson's underhand cast, which was not long double tapers. It was short. Jorn Anderson uses short head system, not long lines. So it was probably 1985 that, just going from my own perspective, that I started steelheading the Skagit, and I saw, here I am, 10-foot Lamiglass 910 weight single-handed rod, teeny 300, wading up to my tits on sock bar. I don't know, I was probably lucky if I got a 50-foot cast out of that rig, trying to catch steelhead. And one day I looked down the bar, and there's these two older guys. They're wading knee deep, and they're making these little 60-foot flip casts with a double-handed rod. I was like, I need to be doing that, not this. So I started talking to Bob, and that's how I got started. But what I want to tell you was, their line, he told me it was, and I can't remember the exact, it was either 15 feet of 9-weight line, coupled to 15 feet of 9-weight high-speed, high-D sinking line, or it may have been 15 and 17, or it may have been 17 and 15. But it's in that ballpark, right? The whole thing was only 32 feet long. And they would literally just do this little flip cast. And they were not out there hucking 100-foot casts. They were standing knee-deep, casting 50 to 60 feet. And they caught, well, they're the legends of the Skagit, right? They caught fish, and they didn't do 100-foot casts, and they didn't sink their fly all the way to the bottom, didn't dredge. They didn't wade this deep. It looked so much more relaxing to me than what anybody else on the river was doing. And just to throw a little of my history in there, it was in November of 1987 that I got my first double-hander. Just I think a year or two later, I was finally like, I'm diving in. I'm tired of this wading deep single-handed thing. I got an old 13.5-foot 910 Orvis 3-piece. What a thunder stick that was! Holy smokes! Compared to nowadays, it's like unbelievable. But that's where it started here, because that's literally where I started. Deck took the same formula. Scott took, and we all started with that same formula, and then put our own input to it from there. We weren't the only ones. All right, we weren't the only people that noticed what was going on there. It's pretty obvious. It didn't take a ton of brains to look at those guys and go, those guys got it going. So. And then since then, there's been all kinds of input from all kinds of people. So I'm not going to get into that. I just wanted to start the origins. Literally, you can look back and say that this all started with Jorn Anderson, if you want to actually get technical about it. So, and that's that.